And we are alive. Boy, it's looking kind of dark here. Wowzers, really dark. Sorry about the lighting, guys. That's my challenge with living here in the south of France. Let's see if that helps. Is I have to come on at night and it's daytime for you guys, but we will make this work. Oh, not crazy about that light at all. But oh well, here we are. Oh, Thomas, I love that. Thomas says, thank you. So needed this. I'm so glad. I've been feeling it for a while. I've I've not been doing as many lives as you guys can tell. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram because I'm gonna start not trying. I'm gonna play with doing lives there. So here's my Instagram. It's at the Arica Angelo. I'll just put on there my Instagram. Make sure you follow me there. It's the Arica Angelo, and I'm gonna try that out. So I just want to welcome everyone who's here. Can I just say hello? And then, guys, this is gonna be much different than what you've experienced with me. So buckle up. We're gonna go for a ride. We're gonna go on a journey. So I just want to say hello to everyone here. Penguin, as always, thank you for being here. Lee, I'm so grateful you're here. Antonio, Kruznik, thank you for being here. Thomas, I'm so grateful you're here. Matt C, hello, my darling. Carl, thank you for being here. Robert from Southeast Iowa. G, thank you for being here. Sean, I'm so glad you're here. So grateful for you guys being here. And we're going to get started. So I'm just going to invite you we're going to do something very different. I want this to be more of an experience. Welcome, Tara. I'm so glad you're here. This is going to be more of an experience instead of just a teaching. So if you can, wherever you are, hopefully you're not driving a car or anything like that. What I am going to invite you to do right now is to close your eyes, and we are just going to dive in by inviting your heart into this process. Those of you who get my emails, I told you, I said it's going to be like going to church with Arica Angelo. I feel like I have like a choir's outfit on. Kim, I'm so glad you're here. So with your eyes closed, everyone, I just want you to close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, I just want to say, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you decided to make it. I'm so glad that you followed that calling, that leading, whatever it was that was pulling on your heartstrings to be here and to be here for this live moment. I just welcome you. I honor your ability to listen to yourself. And with that, I just invite you, hopefully your eyes are closed. And with that, I just invite you to listen as I speak into your heart. And before we do that, let's just take a deep breath in together. And another deep breath in. Letting whatever's been weighing on you, we're just going to release it right now. Take a deep breath in. And we just invite your heart. I invite your heart to show up on this journey right now as we go through this experience together. That your heart would be here. You know why? Because your heart, it matters. Your heart being here today, it matters. You are welcome in this space. You are loved. You are accepted. You are appreciated. And you are adored. So thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, we're going to open our eyes. And guys, we are going to talk about why self-love is so important to finding a healthy relationship. What does that look like? And why why do so many people talk about it? And how do you do it? And how do you avoid getting into relationships that are hurtful, that tear you apart? How are we going to avoid those? I'm so excited to dive into this today. And before I even go into this, I want to also share with you that I just created a new coaching experience. It's called Uplevel Your Intimacy. I'm going to put it right here in the comments. And this is something that is it just kind of got birthed inside of me recently. I sell my courses and I do my coaching, but this is something that it came up in my heart as an experience that I want to take people on. And yes, you can open your eyes now, Antonio. And so right now, if when you join, I have a Facebook group, and the kind of activation that you just got a taste of, we're going to be doing that a lot there, and you're going to get my full support. And so the sooner you join, the quicker you can be a part of that Facebook group and get my undivided attention. And then it will also go into a 5 live day training with me. So this is a very unique experience. I kept the price point lower. Normally, to coach with me, it's thousands of dollars. Yes, I'm expensive, but I'm good. People say, I worked with a therapist for 3 years, and what you told me in one session just changed my life. And so I'm excited to make the entry point. I brought the price to 550, and so it's the Facebook group. You'll be training with me for 5 days live, getting my support, doing live activations like this in the Facebook group. And then we're going to have two more live trainings each additional month. So 2 different months from there. So it's 550. There's even a payment plan. I just wanted to create an experience so there's just no reason why anyone wouldn't be able to join. So I hope that you will meet me inside of that Facebook group so that I can serve your heart. Yes, Thomas, if you can't do the 5 day live course, they're all recorded for you and they'll be in my portal, my members portal, and you'll have access to all of them there. So, guys, let's talk about this about loving yourself. This is going to be a different experience, you guys. This is going to be different than me just teaching. And I really just feel called to I'm feeling it to just speak to your hearts right now again. For those of you who are in a place where you have felt unloved and unlovable for so long, it's like no matter what you do, you can't seem to just get loved. You can't seem to just be loved. And I just speak to those places of you that feel scared, that feel disappointed, that feel frustrated. That you're banging your head against the wall, going, when, God, when? When is it going to be my turn? I'm doing everything I know to do, and I still feel so unlovable. I just invite in grace right now to come in into every heart that is feeling that way. That grace would remove any barrier, anything that has your heart constricted, tied up because you can't receive love, anything in the body that is blocking you right now. We release a clearing for that right now. That love would become safe for you to receive, that you would find love as a safe place, not as something that's scary, that's going to get you, that's going to bite you, that's going to tear you apart, but that love would be safe for you. You see, you guys, this is why we talk about the journey of loving yourself, because what we're doing is we're getting our bodies, we're getting our minds, we're getting a visceral experience of love so that when someone else tries to come in, It's something that we've cultivated within ourselves. So we go, ah, I know what this feels like. This feels good. I don't have to push it away. You see, when we don't love ourselves first, and we hope that we're just going to find the right person who's going to fill that void, what happens is most of the time, subconsciously, we push them away. That real love from a human being is scary for us because we've never invited that tangible experience for ourselves and taking the time to cultivate love for ourselves. So when someone does love us, we start making excuses like, there's just something wrong with them. They're too needy. They've got too many problems in their life. Our minds, our subconscious minds start going to every reason why we shouldn't receive love from that person. And so, this is why it's so important for us to cultivate self love because we're teaching our bodies as we love on ourselves, we're teaching our bodies this is how it feels to be loved. So that when real love shows up, we don't push it away, we don't get rid of it, but we cultivate a safety with love. Now, here is kind of the dark side of when we don't get comfortable with loving ourselves. And I'm going to go into some practical things at the very end because I want to activate you. I want to inspire you. I want to bring some healing and redemption into your heart today. I want to help remove any barriers that are blocking you from being loved today. I want to do that here. But at the very end of this, I want to be able to give you some practical steps how to love yourself. And that helps satiate the analytical mind that goes, I need to be told what to do. I need steps. And so I just want to relax your mind. Any of you whose minds are very activated and going, this is different, this is scary. Just want to bring peace to your mind right now that we're going to get those answers at the very end. So you're safe. You're safe. You're safe. You're going to get those answers. So, the dark side of when we don't love ourselves is what we end up doing is we start opening ourselves up to people who should never be in our lives, people who cannot love us, people who want to take from us as opposed to creating a partnership of give and take. They're just there to pack their bags with as much as you can pour into them and then they want to bail. And so the reason why you get into relationships like that with people who are just takers is because, for one, real love is foreign to you. You've not cultivated that intimacy, that relationship with love. And so you walk around the world with this constant void, this emptiness, hoping that someone can come in and fill it. And because you don't know what it feels like, you accept people who are lower vibrations, people who are narcissistic, people who are selfish, people who are in a constant victim state that they're so paralyzed in their own life that they have nothing to give to you. In fact, I see this a lot with men who attract women who, they can't be there for themselves, and so they just drain on a man, pour into me. And for a man at first that feels good, but then when he's not getting love in return, he starts feeling drained. And so if you keep experiencing that, you may not know what safe love feels like. I've watched with women who, when they talk about like women who love the bad guys, and it's like, yeah, it's I remember a friend of mine in Bali calling a guy out. And she said to him, she said, "You're a punisher. You're trying to punish me, and I'll have no part in this." And so what happens is, when we don't cultivate love for ourselves, what we'll do is we'll accept people who remind us of our trauma. They'll remind us of our parents. Maybe our parents beat us down all the time. And so we'll go to that familiar and go, I'm used to being beat down because that's what my parents did. And so what happens is like women who fall for bad guys or the naughty guys, they're repeating history because that's familiar to them. They know what it's like to be treated like shit because their parents treat them like shit. And so that's a normal frequency for them. So when a good guy comes, they're just like, "Oh, no," and the subconscious just really starts finding reasons why that person is not a good fit. He's not attractive enough. He's too nice to me. I've been watching, Love Is Blind, and there's this one girl, and bless her heart, she is at war with herself in the series, and she gets a really good, emotionally available guy, and she just runs him off, and she demands and demands and then runs him off. And it's like when we don't allow ourselves to cultivate that self love, we actually will run off the people that we need. I know of another story of we all know the famous Paris Hilton. And I don't know if you watched her documentary, but she talks about how she was really abused. She was kind of a wild child, and her parents put her in this camp and they actually tortured her in this camp. And so it created a lot of mental health issues and a lot of um, chaos inside of her. And so she would always go from guy to guy to guy, um, engaged, not engaged. And there was this nice guy that was just always in the back corner, and she just never gave him a chance. And then when she started going through her own inner healing, she put out this documentary. She went on the journey of healing herself. She was finally able to receive the guy who could love her unconditionally. And now they have a child together. And so it's super vital that we understand that loving ourselves is essential because, one, it just feels so damn good. It's a really painful feeling to live life as if you're a crack addict and like you're just addicted to people's approval and addicted to people making you feel good or addicted to making people who make you feel safe. Like this stuff can be very addictive, and it's addictive because we feel like we're never going to have it unless someone gives it to us. But little do we know that we already have access to that inside. We already have access. We just have to be disciplined to be proactive with accessing those parts of us. And hey, listen, I get it. Sometimes we just need that accountability because the reality is sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And so sometimes we need accountability, we need support, someone to come in and be in our corner saying, "Hey, hey, 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 don't go back there. Don't go back there." Or "Hey, hey, hey." It's like that Mufasa moment in The Lion King where he tells Simba, "Remember who you are." Sometimes we just need someone in our corner reminding us of who we are. With this experience I created, it's called Uplevel Your Intimacy. I've never been a big fan of Facebook groups, but now more than ever, I am understanding like how much that is so important to have that sense of community, of having other people reminding you of your greatness, reminding you that you're loved. Because here's the thing, sometimes life gets turbulent, sometimes life gets hard. And when we have challenges coming at us, when circumstances are not going the way that we want them to, we can feel alone. We can feel isolated. And when we are alone and when we're isolated, this is the devil's play shop This is when the thoughts come that beat us up, that punish us, that hurt us, that keep us locked in a victim mode, that keep us constantly fighting with ourselves. And so when we get in those moments, when life does throw those turbulent moments, it's having community around us to support us. And the reality is this is what I've been teaching for years, and it's when you're looking for love, and I'm going to talk to like people who are even in relationships. You can still be in a relationship and still feel very lonely. Just because you have a partner, just because you're married or you have a long time partner doesn't necessarily mean that that loneliness doesn't go away. But I've always told people, like, you have to really practice with what you have. I think that that's something that I have been a champion with, of when there was an absence of, you know, if I were living, like, I lived in California, and, I didn't have my family there. And so I was very active in going, where can I find people who love me for me, and allow myself to be vulnerable enough to allow those people to love on me. And so sometimes we just need that. We need, maybe it's we're single and we don't have anyone. So we need to tap into the resources that are around us. We have to look in our own backyard. I'd love for you to be a part of that community that I'm forming for it's like 60 something days. Um, and sometimes it's just allowing people to be there for us. And here's the thing, as you practice doing that, guess what? Then, when you are in an intimate relationship or when you're needing to open up to your partner more, you've practiced at this. You've cultivated learning the ebb and the flow of intimacy, of when to be vulnerable, when to allow someone to give you love. And so this is one of the key things in loving ourselves, is actually positioning ourselves to give into ourselves, but also allowing people who are already around us, who are healthy, to love on us. And so practically what this looks like, loving ourselves, is first we got to have a vision. I just sent an email. I don't know if you get my emails, but I just sent an email about how we have to have vision. And so when you don't have a vision, you keep repeating the same unhealthy cycles. And so practically, you have to get clear on, like, what is it that you deeply want and need to be loved well? And how do you show up for yourself in that process? How do you, until you get that vision, until you get that partner, until it becomes a reality, how do you get to become the vision of loving on yourself? So, having a vision of what you want is monumental. To go through life without a vision is like stumbling through the dark hoping that your dreams come true. It just doesn't work out that way. Without vision, we die. Like, if you want to see a walking dead person, it's a person who doesn't have vision. You got to have vision. And then sometimes the next thing that we have to do practically is we just got to clear up things in our lives. You know, Many of us, I have gone through trauma in my own life. I'm sure you've gone through trauma. We've been betrayed by people, we've been hurt by people, we've been lied to. And it's like we have to go through a clearing of that. Doesn't all go away overnight, but we at least have to open up our hearts to be healed and to expose that and go, I've got to heal this. This cannot continue to dictate my life. I've got to bring some healing. I've got to shed some light on these areas of my heart that have been hurt so bad. I've got to start clearing these things out, because right now they are the driving force of my life. and I cannot continue to allow that. And sometimes in that process is just surrendering. And surrendering is ninja work. I think of the story of Oprah where she wanted the role of Harpo and um, Color Purple, and she thought because she was overweight that she wasn't going to get it, and so she went to a fat farm and she was like, I'm going to lose all this weight, and she was just beating herself up, and finally she just got so tired and she just went, I surrender. I surrender. And she was singing that song. It was a hymn. I surrender all to thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all. And sometimes as we're going through that journey, we're going to come to that phase where we also have to just surrender. Because what we don't realize is when we are overly demanding of ourselves, that is not love. I know that our hustle culture has taught us to push and push and push. And gosh, I hear so many people on Instagram telling people to push and push and push. I'm like, you know what? Some people, it's like they just need to rest and they need to surrender. And so sometimes we have to create space for a higher purpose to come in and to work out things on our behalf that maybe we just can't see, and surrendering to that, which takes a lot of strength, by the way. It takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of vulnerability to surrender. A lot. I can't tell you how many seasons in my life where I have had to surrender. I think one of the scariest times that recently that I, well, I've had a lot of surrendering lately, but I just remember when COVID happened and I was in Bali and there were so many rumors going around that we were not going to be okay in Bali, and I had a choice to make. Do I go back to America or do I stay in Bali? And I followed what felt right to me, and I just said, I choose to stay in Bali and I surrender to this process. And I'm so glad that I did because it was one of the most healing and joyful seasons I had ever experienced. And so sometimes we just have to surrender to the unknown. Lee says, I have a hard time resting and relaxing enough, actually. And what we do is when we don't surrender, we actually start resisting the good things that life is trying to come in. When we're trying to fight so hard, we actually are not in a position to be able to receive. And the next thing is in our journey of self love is we have to be open to inspiration. We really do. There are always messages everywhere. But if we are not open, if we don't have an open heart to be inspired, that's not really allowing ourselves to be loved. I feel like there's sometimes like kisses from God, from the universe, when we have a heart that's willing to be inspired. But when you shut down your heart and you say, I'm cynical, I'm angry, I'm bitter, that is not loving yourself. It's actually drinking poison. Cynicism, unforgiveness. Oh man, that's one that I could talk about. Unforgiveness. All these things are poison. And it's like, yeah, I love myself, but then you drink poison on the side. And it's like, that's not love. And so to be able to really love ourselves, we have to have an open heart that's activated, that's willing to allow ourselves to be inspired, because these are the kisses of heaven. These are the beauties of life, is when we allow our hearts to be nurtured and inspired. I believe that inspiration is a form of nurturing. I The other day I was cooking and I poured some oil in the pan, and the oil became a heart. And I see hearts everywhere. Obviously, I talk about love, so I see hearts all over the place, but I saw a heart in the oil. And it was just like, oh, I'm so loved. Everywhere I go is a reminder that I am loved. And you have to be able to position yourself to receive those inspirations. And when you do, it's like drinking the elixir of life that keeps you nourished, that keeps you going, that gives you the fuel to not give up. And I touched on this just a little bit, but just having community, allowing people to be there for us is actually a huge form of self-love. Allowing people to support us because listen, life is always working for us. Even when the circumstances aren't in our favor, somehow life is always working for our highest good. But we have to surrender to that process. Um, and the reality is when we try to do everything on our own and and we don't allow people to be there for us, that is actually not loving ourselves. I think that we confuse self-love with just self-reliance, and that's just not it. It's being able to feel safe in yourself, that you can rely on yourself to give yourself love. But we also need people. We need that sense of community and allowing people to be there for us. So, this is the journey of positioning ourselves to fill our cup up so that we can have a healthy relationship, so that we feel familiar with it, that we don't allow the past to sabotage us, that we don't have our grip on life so strongly, holding it so tight that we have to control everything, that healthy love can't come in, that we're actually punishing ourselves when we overly grip on life and need to be excessively in control. That in itself is a form of punishment and not loving ourselves. So I want to dive into the Q&A really quick. But before I do, if you are wanting my support and you want this kind of inspiration, as I said, I'm going to be in this Facebook group. Um, and there's going to be a live 5-day training that's going to be recorded, and then you're going to get support 60 days after that. And I made the cost really low, as I shared before. My coaching is thousands of dollars. I make no apologies for that. But I've made it at $550, and I even put a payment plan because I really, really, really I really want to make it feasible and easy for anyone to get this kind of support because I really feel like we need it right now. I know this past year and a half for me, I've needed that. And so I just wanted to make it very easy for people to get that opportunity. So if you want to join that experience, it's right here. There's a link. You can check it out. And if you have any questions about it, please email me. You can email me at erica@ericaangelo.com, or you can get on my Instagram. As I said, I'm going to be experimenting with doing lives there. So follow me on Instagram. It's the Arica Angelo. And if you have any questions about this experience, be sure to message me. I try to make everything clear on the page describing it, but if you still have questions, just please message me. So, with that, I'm going to answer the questions. And at the very end of this, I just want to close this out with another one of those meditations and activations, if that's okay with you. So let's get into these. Let's see what questions we have. Um, and if you have questions, now is the time to go ahead and put them in. Um, okay, so Antonio Rodriguez says, so what happens when you go into a relationship, when you think it's love and people tell you it's not love, it's a lustful relationship you're in? What do you tell the other person who said it? Well, here's the thing. Um, you when you're in a lustful relationship, it's not gonna feel very loving. A lustful relationship is all about what you can get out of the person. But a loving relationship is two people showing up going, how can I give to the other person? And how can we both receive? I don't think it's just giving, it's also positioning yourself to be able to receive from that person as well. But a lustful relationship is not going to have that that lace, that intertwined give and take. It's just going to be all about taking, 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 taking. And so it has to come from both parties. You know, if you're blinded by lust, then you're just going to give and give to a person and they're not going to reciprocate it back to you. That's a good sign that you might be blinded by lust. But if you're asking me what to say to someone if someone's judging your relationship, you know, I'm a big like I'm not a fan of telling people when a relationship is right or wrong unless there's just very apparent strong abuse there, I will say something. And I feel like that's ethically correct to do. But I don't, you know, I've been giving advice for 15 years. I never feel like I'm the person to tell a person yes or no to their relationship. It's such an intimate decision. And so, Antonio, I would encourage you just to say, look, this is a very personal decision in my own life. And I'm not sure where you thought I gave you an invitation to speak into that, but I never ever issued you that invitation. So I think you need to keep that to yourself. And sometimes we have to be just straight with people for them to really get it. I hope that helps you. Oh, thank you, Jawad. He says, Erica Angel, love you. I really do. Thank you, darling. Dale Williams says, I have pretty much given up on a meaningful relationship. My last relationship lasted 30 years until her childhood significant other was released from prison. Oh my gosh, Dale. I am so sorry that you had that experience. That is, wow. Talk about betrayal. I can see where you would want to give up on love after that kind of experience. I have not been through that, and so I can only imagine what your heart encountered going through that. Um, I do have a glimmer of hope for you though, Dale, because the fact that you're here and you're watching this and you even spoke up, like that tells me I don't want to give up. I just don't know how to move on. I just don't know where to go from here. And that's what I hear underneath that. So my heart goes out to you. I'm terribly sorry you had that experience. That's shit. It's just shit. And I'm sorry that you had that. I would love for you to be a part of that community, of that experience that I just created. I think that that would be very, very meaningful for you. Even just a safe place to grieve some of that. I think that one thing that our culture does not advocate enough is the grieving process. People are so afraid to grieve. I have been afraid in my past to grieve. And I just realized like when you don't grieve, you hold it and it eats you away. It eats at you like a disease, like an infectious disease. It just eats at you. And we have to grieve things. It's so important. So I would love for you to join that container to create a safe place for you to do that. Shangri-La Dida says, "Never give up." I love that. I agree. Antonio, I love you too, dear. Hi, A. David. Hi, Alec. I'm so glad you're here. And Thomas, I agree with you. You can only push so much. There has to be grace that comes into the process. Oh, that's so cool. Penguin says that they just sang at his church today. I surrender all. It's a good song, but boy, it's a potent song. It's a potent song. Um, Penguin says, when we surrender, we allow faith to work. We must listen and pray for guidance. Our roadmap works. Yes. Oh, I love that. Alex says, I know I'm loved. 100%. I love that. Derek says, good morning, Erica. You are looking very attractive and ravishing this Sunday AM. Thank you. Thomas says, funny. I make a heart with a condiment than my initials. I love that. That's a good practice. Thank you, Antonio. He says, always know that I love you, Erica. Yes, so kind. Thank you. Lee says, yes, amen. Positioning ourselves to receive is a mighty, mighty powerful message. It means to let go and being still enough to receive. Wow. Awesome message, Erica. I'm so glad you got it. Because, sometimes I say these things, and if you have an open heart and ears that can hear, boy, you can really grab some powerful things. Yes, Thomas. He asked in this group, this experience, I'll just put the link again here. He says, will I be doing lives? Yes, I would love to do daily lives in this Facebook group. I'm just really, I think that those lives in the Facebook group really will like ignite that sense of community. So G says, has a great question. How does a healthy relationship start? Always easy and smooth. Here's the thing. I think there is honestly no formula for that. I think that yes, a healthy relationship can start off easy and smooth, but also, when not all of us have arrived and have done our work. So when you're still in the process of doing your work, healing yourself, you might run up into some challenges because I believe that relationships help us become the best version of ourselves. I think if you don't want to grow or you don't want to change, and you just want to stay as you are, like, I don't think that sets you up for a healthy relationship. But a healthy relationship is going to challenge us. It's going to trigger us too. When we open up our hearts, like, this is the biggest activator to self growth, to experiencing and living life abundantly. I believe is through relationships. It's through the heart. It's through the heart that you live that life. But relationships come and they push on those buttons. So I can't say that just because a relationship maybe triggers you in the beginning, that it's not going to be a healthy relationship. It may be a buckle up. You're going to grow, you're going to change, you're going to become a different person through this experience, and you're going to be loved in the process. Thomas says, is your new program for people who haven't dated or been dating for a long time? That is a great question. This is all about a journey with yourself. So, this is for people who are single, who have not been dating, people who are even in relationships. This is all about activating yourself, up leveling yourself, getting a bigger vision, and having support and the tools to be able to do that. That was a great question. Um, Next. Juan says, hello, Erica. How are you? You know what? I got to go lay out on the beach today, and I'm telling you what, this is like one of my love languages. Being on the beach, absorbing sun is like, man, I could do this all day, every day. You're so welcome, Thomas. I love that. Don't feel alone today. Good to have the community back here. Thank you, Erica, and everyone. Guys, I really hope that this supported you. And so, as I said earlier, I'll read this last one and then I'll do the closing and just sealing in our meditation and our activation. Matt says, I worry all every day. I haven't dated for 30 years. Now I don't work because of health issues. And I hate arguments from a toxic past. Now I think I'm too old. Matt, I don't think that any of us are ever too old. And I don't know if you got the part about having a vision that I shared at the beginning of this, but I think when we have a vision, a clear vision of what we want, that vision will always supersede our fears and our doubts. And so instead of letting fear dictate things for you, I would dictate things for you. I would encourage you to ask yourself, what is it that I want? What are my desires? And allow those to start becoming clear. I think you're focusing too much on what you're afraid of, that you haven't found any hope for what a future could be. And okay. Oh, thank you, Sean. He just gave me a $5 super chat. I welcome super chats. Sweet Penguin will send me a Venmo, and he's like, he knows I love my coffee. So he's like, girl, go get a coffee. It's so sweet. I appreciate that. Lee says, as men, we tend to grieve in silence, which is like grieving in darkness. This is a big, oh, Lee, oh my gosh. I could go to town talking about this subject. I wholeheartedly agree with you. He says that men, we tend to grieve in silence, which is like grieving in darkness. That is brilliant. This is a big stumbling block for us men. I wholeheartedly agree. We need to let go of that stereotype. It is killing us in the dark. I That is profound. I completely agree with that. I think that that's why so many men are in trouble. Why men who seemingly have everything and then all of a sudden do drastic things. It's because they're so alone. And oh, that's right. That's why we're here, Miss. In this chat, Miss Erica, you are helping us to come into the light again. Oh, I love that. Thank you for saying that. He says, I am so appreciative. I love that. All right, guys, I just want to bring us back. If you could just take in a deep breath with me. I know this was a lot, so just another deep breath in. And I just want you to close your eyes. And I just want to speak to your heart and say, darling, you are going to experience the sweetness and the safety of love. In fact, you are so worthy of it that you don't have to hold out for tomorrow to enjoy the delicacies of love, that you can experience it here and now. So, right now, I just give everyone who is a part of this experience, I just give you the permission to allow yourselves to be loved today. Today, not in the distant future, not tomorrow, but in this very present moment, that the power of love would activate your heart, that it would deposit, that it would light a fire in the depths of your soul and heart, that love would be activated, and that you would know that you can blow on the flames of that fire, and that that love can continue to grow and cultivate and expand and to hold you. So I just release that love to every single person right now. And I say, honey, you're so deserving of it. You're so deserving of it. You're so worthy of that. So allow it to be. Allow it to be. Allow grace to do its work so that it can create the container for you to hold that love. Oh, yes, Lee. That's exactly what we will be doing in this group. Once again, I'll just share the link with you. I highly encourage you to join this experience, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing, is creating a safe container for people to open up and share and get activated. So thank you guys so much. And like I said, follow me on Instagram, because I'm going to start doing more lives there. Laporta, I'm sorry, we already closed out the Q and A's, but please follow me on Instagram. It's at the Arica Angelo. I'm going to be doing a live there, and you can bring your question there. Thank you guys so much. Uh, how do we get on the email chain through your website? Oh yeah, you just go to my website. At the very bottom, it says sign up for the newsletters. You can get it there. So please go sign up on my website, ericaangelo.com. Guys, I love you. Be loved. I'm so glad that I have got to have this experience with you. If this experience really touched you, please email me. I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear, I can't say this enough. I love when you guys email me and you tell me the behind the scenes. This is what I was going through, Arica. This is what was happening in my life. This is what was transpiring. And then I watched your video and then this happened. I want to hear that. Email me at Arica. Arica is obviously with an A. Arica at ericaangelo.com. I want to hear how this activation supported you. So be sure to let me know. I love you so much, guys, and take care. And I do hope that you join me in this experience. It's going to be life changing. So take me up on it. I've made it affordable for anyone to join, because I've created a payment plan. So be sure to join that. Oh, Brian, I'm so glad. Yes, Brian, you can watch it from the beginning. Brian, I just adore you. I'm sending so much love to your heart. You've been on my heart a lot lately. I hope that you're doing well. All right, guys, I love you. Be loved and take care.